Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good golly, Miss Molly. Uh, it's a windy gale force winds day here in Alberta. So plans to do things that we had planned outside are on hold because it is literally blowing a gale. It's lovely and sunny and warm, but no, winds are incredible. It was weird because last night there was a storm, but it was like rather than a ton of lightning and thunder, there was just one huge bolt of lightning. I was out looking to see if it hit anything, and it sounded like an explosion, but couldn't see any damage. So I thought I would do an impromptu live stream and see if anybody out there. I know there's a lot of other shows on Saturdays to compete against. Impromptu live stream. See if anybody's around. Just show off some of my latest thrift store and other physical media purchases and have just a general chat. Hey, Papa Cotton, physical media is indeed king. And I've got a few bits and pieces here. It's been a bit slim pickings recently in the vicinity for such things, but I found a few bits and pieces. And I could talk a little bit about some of the stuff I've been watching recently. Not doing my normal live show on Monday for various reasons. It's been an extremely busy time for me personally. Lots of things to do, appointments and stuff. So I figured I'd take a week off on Monday, so no show on Monday. But the full slate in September is planned of exciting shows. I thought today I'd just do a little bit of chat about physical media. So good to see you, Papa Cotton. It may just be you and me. Who knows? But that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. We are live on YouTube, over on the Green Machine, as you say on YouTube, but over on Rumble, we can say Rumble. So live on Rumble too, possibly. I think we're on Twitter as well. Papa Cotton, you've been ordering CDs like it's 2005. Yeah, I've even got a couple on order myself recently. Stuff that's got special, deluxe edition stuff. Not new particularly, but stuff that has tracks that I didn't know even existed. On some of these, my favorite albums of all time. So that's a subject for another show, though. Hello, Davina. Physical media still needs support and maintenance. It needs love, care, and attention. You got to get the cloth out and wipe it occasionally. Yes, indeed. And digital's still great for many reasons, but physical is king, as Papa Cotton says. Even laser pickups wear out. Yeah. Well, I know, but a Blu-ray player, for instance, I don't have a 4K player or TV yet. If I had a player, it wouldn't make any difference because I don't have a 4K TV. Blu-ray players are pretty inexpensive. I've got one I've had for a number of years, which is multi-region, etc., jailbroken, so I could play stuff from all around the world and other things. Hopefully that won't wear out soon, although I've had it for quite a number of years, that particular Blu-ray player. So, but yeah, thank you for joining me, the two of you. It's good to see you. And Bill, hello. Hello, sir. Good to see you, my friend. It's always a bit of interesting when I do these fairly impromptu streams, which I don't do too often, just to see who's around, who wants to turn up, join in and chat. And I don't do streams on my own very often. Usually we've got the crew with me. I know, fellow Scott. Well, I should tell you that I was talking to our friend Christian Delorme earlier, who sent me some time ago. And I don't know if you can see it in the background. No, you can't see it through the pile of physical media. He sent me a complete collection of Robert Burns' works, poems, etc. And he and I are going to be doing a stream very soon where, because it was very good of him to send me this book, where I'm going to read a few of them. So, Bill, it's going to be It's going to be being a product of the modern era, and not necessarily, although we all did Robert Burns at school in my day, in the 60s and 70s, not necessarily steeped in the language, that old Scots language particularly, and it's been many years since I've tried to read any of them aloud. There will be a few errors, I'm sure. So I should be ashamed as a Scotsman that I'm probably going to mess some of them up. We're going to read some of those poems, particularly on the theme of friendship, which I've been picking a few out of the book that I particularly enjoy. So, filmate Faye Burns, Cottage in Ayr. Aye. Well, I'm not from Ayr, but much of my family history is from Galloway, Dumfries and Galloway, and I spent much of it was like a second home in childhood down in that area, particularly Wigtonshire. So I'm pretty familiar with the whole southwest of Scotland. Still a beautiful area. Still even feels, when you go right down to Isle of Whithorn and Monreath and places like that, still feels pretty remote even to this day. So anyway, Christian and I are going to attempt to do some Burns. We're going to do some Rabbi Burns, so that might be fun. Interesting enough, Christian being a French Canadian, although he's not from Quebec, he is from Ottawa in Ontario. I've spent a lot of time in Montreal, obviously French Canadian. Used to be both French and English. My wife is from Montreal, although she's English speaking. She's an Anglo. They have a statue of Robert Burns in Montreal, as you will find in many places of the world. He was quite celebrated in his day and beyond. Part of that renaissance of culture that was a lot of which was centred in Scotland in the 17th, 18th and 19th centuries. So, it's nae Burns without the haggis. Well, I could go and get a can of haggis from somewhere, I guess. There's a couple of Scottish stores in Calgary, so I could make my own. True, I could give that a try. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out and being there today. So slim pickings on the physical media front recently. I haven't done as many of these videos. I've picked clean every store within reach and further afield even, but I got a few things, some of which are thrift stores, some of which are actually some freebies I got. So always worth taking a look. Now, obviously we do the Canon Film Club, which we're very proud of in this channel. So I'm always on a mission to pick up any Canon physical media that I can. But I got a copy of Delta Force 3 on VHS. This is, of course, the one without Chuck, but with his son, Mike. Delta Force 3, straight to video, I believe, back in the day. It's a fairly decent quality VHS copy, which actually does play, which is good, because I do have a VHS player that I bought especially to play some of this stuff. So I'll add that to the shelf. Delta Force 3. I think I'm right. So, Delta Force 3. Subtitles, of course, The Killing Game, 1991 direct to video. Canon was on its last legs by then, of course, but starring the sons of people: Nick Cassavetes, son of John, Eric Douglas, Mike Norris, and others that were. So it was almost like the sons of everyone. Okay, movie. It's Canon. So Delta Force 3. Will there be a beta player? I haven't got a Betamax player. I am thinking of looking for. I wish I could find an old second-hand one that's a reasonable cost, an HD DVD player, because I've picked a few of those up recently. A lot of them get given away because that was the failed format as opposed to DVD, or as opposed to Blu-ray, I think. So I've picked up a few of those which I can't play. So I'm going to have to figure that out. Back in the day, Davina, I had a Philips V2000 player, which was another competitor to both of Beta and VHS. I wish I still had it. It was so huge and bulky, though, that when I moved to North America, I got rid of it. Kind of regret that now. Well, I regret getting rid of a lot of things that I got rid of. That's one I do regret getting rid of, and even some of the tapes that what was on some of those recordings of TV in the, I guess we're talking early 80s then. Some of it might have been quite interesting now, but Philips V2000. God, I wish I kept that. Also on the Canon VHS front that I picked up for a whopping $1.99, the 1987 Canon Charles Bronson movie Assassination, peculiarly enough starring his spouse Jill Ireland. How unusual for the two of them to appear in movies together. Really strange that, especially Canon movies. You would almost think it was part of his deal. No disrespect to Jill Ireland, of course. Not a movie I've watched often. I think I've maybe seen it twice. Once back in the day and then once in between on TV. So in 1987, bodyguard protecting the First Lady of the United States. See, they got that one in long before the movie The Bodyguard. Modest box office takings at the time. Don't know how much it cost. Made about 6 million box office. So it's nice to pick up a VHS of that. Again, it actually plays okay, so that's pretty good. It was originally called My Affair with the President's Wife, then The President's Wife, The Assassin, and finally Assassination. Very canon that, of course, to change the titles multiple times, change everything about it. But that, again, will be nice on the shelf. Goes with a lot of the other Chuck Bronson. So I'm trying to collect a lot of Canon VHS, Charles Bronson VHS, which is why I got this one, the Stone Killer, in the fold-out box type case, which is nice, more protective. Stone Killer, not a Canon, obviously, not a Canon, but a Charles Bronson, and Michael Winner, of course, who Charles Bronson worked with many times, also starring Martin Balsam. This is 1973, though, so pre-Death Wish, which was 74, post The Mechanic, both great movies, and this is a Dino De Laurentiis, obviously, on I think Columbia distributed this one. I think that's a little Columbia. So really good condition, this one. I actually may not watch the VHS copy, but I might get a copy digitally and watch it. So, pretty damn good. Described as an action neo-noir thriller. When Michael Winner was at his peak, I actually do like The Mechanic, Death Wish, and this film. They made a great 3 films back to back. You've even got a young John Ritter in this one as a cop. Mob type thriller. So Stone Killer. I have not seen that for many years. I think I might have shown this one before, but it was still in because I can't fit it into the vertical shelves that all my other media are in. It was lying in my holding area before I file things away. The book format Death Wish 3, which I did show before, which I again picked up for a pittance. Great movie. We did it on Canon Film Club. If I Had a Rocket Launcher would be a great song for this movie. So that's also, as I say, I can't fit it in that shelves vertically. That was a bit of a mistake. But then again, how many of these, this size of VHS, do you have these days? These weren't even that. There wasn't even that many of them back in the day. It's probably a rental, but I think a couple of the other ones I got there were ex-Blockbuster rental ones. So. Death Wish 3, great movie. Thank you all for being in the chat here, by the way, and chatting away. Good to see you all. Don't forget to leave a like, because obviously we want thousands and thousands of people to tune into this. That's going to happen. Possibly not. We've had some good stuff recently that's done pretty well on the channel. I can't complain. We were up to 1760 subscribers, dropped back a little bit to 1759. We've had several successful videos and live streams. The live streams are going over pretty well, thanks to you guys for being so active in the chat and supporting me in those. So some DVD stuff that I picked up for maybe $1 or $2 each. Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, two of our favorites, of course, in Van Helsing. This one had the foil. The foil is coming off a little bit, which is a shame. But that's probably why it was sitting on a get rid of at all cost shelf in the thrift store. It was in a pile of stuff that was not well regarded. You know what I mean? If it can focus on this tough, there's quite a lot of exclusive features on this. Even that play the Van Helsing game. God knows if that works or not. I'm going to try it though. I'm going to give it a try. I actually quite enjoyed this movie. Don't know what you guys think. I think it was pretty good. Bill likes. I enjoyed it. I do like Jackman and Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale is one of my favorites. Stephen Sommers movie. I think it's a fair addition to the shelves, and inside it was in excellent condition. So very happy about that one. And it's actually a movie I didn't even have digitally, so happy to have a copy of that. You're going to get a kick out of this, Bill. I picked this up because, again, it was on the thrift store shelves for a couple of bucks. One night only. Rod Stewart live at the Albert Hall from, 2004. 2004. Yeah, this is the 2004 era where Rod was deep into his classic standards albums. So doing the old standards. I've actually watched this a few times on YouTube because there's some nice performances on it, particularly the Maggie May Gasoline Alley towards the end with Ron Wood. It's nice stuff. He does do a fair selection of the stuff I like, including some of the covers. So if you look at it, this is the track listing on this one. So not bad, I mean, overall, there are periods of Rod's career that I'd be quite happy to ignore. But generally speaking, there are periods that were great. I'm a huge Faces fan. Rod Stewart and the Faces, enormously wonderful band. I do like his early solo stuff. And there's a lot of that's featured on here, so well worth having in the collection. For a bit of Rod the Mod. Audio holds up well, and that's true. So this next one I got was in the thrift store was Lucy. It's just a plain DVD copy, nothing with a special featurette on it. I actually was pretty disappointed with this movie when it came out, being a Luc Besson fan. I thought it started okay, but it didn't really know where it wanted to go. I mean, I just did not enjoy the ending, the last third of it at all. It didn't know what it wanted to do. Because the premise is pretty good. So I've never been a huge fan of Lucy as a movie, but it does feature one of my favorite Korean actors, Choi Min-sik. So I figured, well, I might as well pick it up just for that alone. Choi Min-sik is possibly best known. I don't know how many. I don't think he's done other Hollywood type movies, or West Hollywood, is looked best on Hollywood. Probably not. He hasn't done a lot of stuff in the West. Everyone might know him from the original Korean Old Boy movie. He's done a ton of my favorite Korean movies, like The Admiral, and the TV series in 2023, Big Bet, which I've plugged that series a lot. It's my favorite Korean television show of all time. Show called Big Bet, and he's the star of that. It's very rare for him to do TV. It's very well respected movie and theatre. Anyway, Lucy, Chime 6 in it, so it's good enough for me. Still not a great movie. Now, I have other copies of The French Connection, but given the fact they're changing this movie, I like to buy old copies of it as often as I can. I'm quite a fan of these 5-star DVDs, the ones in the silver cases. I got a lot of Star Trek movies in this format and some others, some Westerns. So this is the 5-star collection, French Connection, which has a pretty good booklet inside too. Not huge, but it's just a nice little bit. Dual disc, double disc. They've got some quite nice graphics on that. Quite like that imaging. An all-time classic, William Friedkin. A lot of great extras on this. So it's worth having in the collection, even though I've got other copies, and it's obviously the unadulterated, uncensored version. It's always worth having. Now it's being censored for modern audiences. French Connection, all-time classic. Hey, Courtney. Good to see you, lass. Thank you for joining us, our little crew on this impromptu show. Thank you all for being here. So comedy, as we know, is in dire straits these days. I don't mean in reference to the band. Some of the best comedies in recent times aren't even in recent times. So you're looking back to 10, 12, 15 years ago, etc. One of those great comedies, of course, was Dodgeball. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I happen to like the taste of my own urine. So many quotable phrases. I like this. I immediately wanted this copy as opposed to others that were lying on the shelf because of the holographic cover. See, I'm easily distracted by such things. There you go. So I picked that up. Duck, etc. The five things that you must do. Go balls deep. So it's Davina. It's a laugh. It really is a funny movie, but it's got a lot of heart too. Rip Torn is just immense in this. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. There you go. I didn't notice that was in there. The 5 Ds. Patches O'Houlihan. They just, honestly, they can't make this shit anymore. Not even Ben Stiller, who's said a lot of things recently, but not even him and Vince Vaughn can make this shit anymore. So definitely better than Balls of Fury. I agree. Balls of Fury was okay. Dodgeball is a classic, so well worth it. A lot of laughs. Looking forward to watching that again. So one more time. The hologram cover. There you go. Okay, so recently on Toxic Tuesday on our great friend Nick Visor's channel, we did all the Punishers movies, that is. So this I had digitally, but I didn't have a copy physically. It's the Tom Jane, John Travolta Punisher. Pretty good movie. I still enjoy it. It's a good movie. My favorite, that's just me. My favorite is the Ray Stevenson Warzone. But this one is not bad at all. I do like Tom Jane as an actor. So to pick that up for $1 was nice to get a physical copy of that. Although I have my suspicions about this one because when I looked closely at it, it's either an extremely cheaply produced copy or someone's actually bootlegged it because it just seems a bit grainy when I look at it. So I don't know. I'm maybe being over paranoid. I don't really care. It'll still sit on the shelf with the other movies. I'm just looking at Courtney's. Hey, Captain Halffun's here. Good to see you. Good to see you, mate. Tom Jane is awesome. Brilliant in Asterisk 61, the baseball movie. Laundry Day is good. I'd like to have seen Tom Jane get another kick at the can with Punisher, but as I say, I do like the Ray Stevenson. You never know if it's a knockoff or not. That's true. I did not yet, but I am obviously gagging for that. I will be gagging to see that. Doom 4, yeah. The great Shah Rukh Khan. Courtney's talking a lot about flirting with Patricia Marquette. Hey, Courtney, wherever you like. We don't judge here. We're not judging. You can flirt with her if you wish. Flirting with Disaster. Yes, a great comedy as well. Still had a lot of good stuff. Yeah, Thomas Jane in The Expanse was great. Obviously, his time in that was limited for plot reasons, which I wouldn't want to give away because I would want people to watch the entire thing. But when he was in it, fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Do love Tom Jane. Next one I got was actually not a DVD, it's a combo Blu-ray DVD. Peter Berg's Lone Survivor with Marky Mark. A harrowing but great movie. I really do like it. Peter Berg makes some great stuff. Obviously, you're getting an excellent cast in this. Taylor Kitsch, who I'm a big fan of Taylor Kitsch. Done a lot of great stuff. Never become the star that they tried to make him. But Ben Foster, Emile Hirsch, Eric Bana, who's a great actor. Love Eric Bana. Harrowing movie. But also some tremendous messages of, friendship, survival, fighting for each other, but also people intervening to save them. People who had a lot to risk. Local people, the area they were in, had a lot to risk, but helping out. So, big fan of that. Big fan of Mark Wahlberg. I actually just watched on Netflix Arthur the King. Mark Wahlberg makes a lot of positive movies these days. It's family oriented, but fantastic messages in it. Very intense. It's about a extreme racing competition based on a true life story, but also with a dog. I won't say any more because I think you should watch it. Very positive movie with a great story, a lot of heart in it. Mark Wahlberg is looking a lot better than Patricia Arquette these days, to be honest. Well, he's looking pretty good. If you watch Arthur the King or anything he's done recently, he's looking good. So Lone Survivor, very much enjoyed that movie. Continuing with the Marky Mark theme, though, I also got another combo Blu-ray DVD for a couple of bucks of Two Guns with the great Denzel. Is there an actor alive today that has the gravitas and respect of a Denzel? I'm not so sure. It's just my opinion. Denzel is the man. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it immensely. I wouldn't say it was among my all-time favorites, but good pairing. Big fan of both of these guys. So great. Nice to get a Blu-ray copy of it for a couple of bucks. And that one will be all as I file my stuff, anything with a number at the front gets filed before A in there. So this will be pretty near the front, given it's two guns. Yeah, it wasn't the most memorable one, but still had some fun in it. Now this is not by any means the next one. It's not by any means a rare. These, you get these cheapies in Walmart, cheapie collections, 20 classic whatever movies, and you get them for $5. This one is one of those, but I got it for $1, $1 Canadian, sealed, and it's the 20 classic spaghetti westerns. It's a great picture of Lee Van Cleef there. So it's not like the biggest bargain in the world, and indeed, there's a few things in here that are probably not hugely into, but there is some great stuff like Death Rides a Horse is on here. Man from Nowhere, Apache Blood. Where's the other one that I really like on here? Oh yeah, Trinity and Sartana. So the Trinity movies, one of those is on here. So some interesting stuff. Not necessarily some of these are not necessarily the best known spaghetti westerns, but there's a few interesting ones in here, enough to make having a physical copy for $1 well worth having, especially when you've got guys like Lee Van Cleef on a couple of these movies. There's a few on here I have not seen, so I'm looking forward to trying them out. Yeah, these sets are, for $5 you'll get these sets in Walmart, but I got it for $1 and it was sealed. So, interestingly enough, a film I've never seen, at the very bottom, White Comanche, starring William Shatner. Has anybody seen that movie? I've never seen it. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. So that will be interesting. I'm going to watch that. Getting very near the end of those. This one I did an entire video about unboxing this one, but I thought I'd show it in here too because it's still pretty new to me. It's a movie I got from the great Umbrella Entertainment in Australia. They do fantastic collector's editions. I've got quite a few of them now. This is a seminal South Korean movie called Joint Security Area, released in, I think this is 2000. I'm going to be absolutely sure about that because I can't. It's either 1999 or 2000. I think it's 2000. I'm going to look it up. Yeah, 2000. And it was a film. It's a movie that's cited very much as sort of the. I'd love to talk to Robert Meyer Burnett, but I think I'm kind of too small for him to even respond to it, unfortunately, as a channel. Although I do know I'm in contact with obviously people that he has streamed with, like Gary Nerdrotic and others. So I would love to do that one day. I'd particularly love to talk about the Korean stuff. So Joint Security Area, this and a movie called Shiri are cited very often as being the introduction of modern South Korean cinema, as opposed to the older style of stuff that they used to do, which very often was rip-offs of Taiwanese or Hong Kong or other stuff, or was very old-fashioned looking. Just you look at some of those 60s, 70s, 80s Korean movies now, and they do seem very old-fashioned in their style and their subject matter. And this heralded a new, Shiri, by the way, starred Choi Min-sik, who was in Lucy. This one ushered in a new era, and it was a new way of looking at the division with North Korea and about that one particular area, that DMZ that joint security area where young South Korean and North Korean soldiers came up against each other in a particular atmosphere. And what happens if they go off the script and actually become friends and hang out with each other against all the rules, and the tragedy that occurs because of that. So it's a great mystery thriller. Everyone's trying to unravel this tragedy you see at the start of the movie with various people being shot. What happened? What was going on there on that bridge to nowhere, over back and forward with the two. So it's a great movie, directed by Park Chan-wook, who did Old Boy and some other great movies, and starring very early starring performances from Lee Byung-hun. So Lee Byung-hun and Song Kang-ho, who have gone on to do so many great movies right up to this present day. Well, Lee Byung-hun is, if you watch Squid Game, he's frontman in that. Song Kang-ho, of course, has been in so many good things as well, like Parasite, etc. So, seminal, as they say. Great movie. Very tense. So that was the movies. Hey, Anima. It's so good to see you. Courtney says she finally got a TV and a DVD player in her room, so she's been getting DVDs at the thrift stores. And we'd be interested to see. Maybe you should come on one of these and we'll show some of the stuff you've got, because I'd be very keen to see what you're getting. Always keen to see what's getting picked up by other people, and I would love to see your selections. So I did get some books, and these books were. I don't know. I don't think Park Chan-wook was involved with the Josh Brolin Old Boy remake. I could be wrong, but I don't think he had any association with it. He made the original. He directed Joint Security Area. He did the Vengeance trilogy, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, etc. He did a film called The Handmaiden, which is a pretty steamy movie, if I could put it that way, with Kim Tae-ri and a bunch of other well-known Korean actors, but Kim Tae-ri was the female lead. Pretty steamy stuff, I have to say. The Handmaiden, especially as a lot of South Korean stuff plays it really safe with the sex stuff. That one was just off the rails. So he's done stuff, but I don't think he was involved with the remake of Old Boy. I'd have to double check. But anyway, Lee Byung-hun and Song Kang-ho, great stars. I got some books for free that were being given away, and I try to collect hockey books if I see them either cheap or being given away. So I got this one, The Great Lanny MacDonald, and his Calgary Flames Glory. Lanny by Lanny MacDonald was just being given away at our local recycling place in really good nick. So I thought I'd pick that up. The Tash. Look at that Tash. I mean, that's just a work of art. Now, I'm going to try and find it, but I have a video of Lanny MacDonald from our bourbon and boarding shows in promoting, I think it's fur coats. It's just hilarious. I'm going to try and find it. You might not have seen it, those who don't watch bourbon and boarding, because it's late on a Saturday night, may have not seen it. Commercials. I gotta see if I can find this Lanny MacDonald. I hope we've got. So one of the things Brahma and I do in bourbon boarding is show old hockey commercials, starring all sorts of hockey people or whatever. Some of them are hilarious. Where did I put this? I'm hoping I downloaded it and didn't just show it on Twitter. Oh, I got myself all worked up now and I don't know where it is. Okay, I'm going to go look on Twitter, see if I can find this Lanny McDonald fur coat advert, and it's just so 70s, it's unbelievable. Just bear with me, see if I can find this thing. Oh, here it is. Right, okay. Hopefully you'll be able to hear this when I play it. So first I got to share screen. And then I'm going to expand the thing.
Originals made Benzing's furs. When I found out that Ardell likes things that tickle her nose, I got her a fur coat from Benzing Furs. Benzing's 5 generations of personalized furrier experience and the finest Canadian-made fur originals made Benzing's Furs our choice.
I'm sure impressed.
When we're onto something good, we don't mind telling people about it.
Benzing Furs, 1st Street and 7th Avenue Southwest. Lanny, you have just been replaced by my Benzing fur.
When I found out that Ardell likes things that tickle her nose...
So Lanny McDonald and his wife advertising fur coats. And you would need one of those in Alberta if you're playing in Calgary in the winter. Fur coat. But yeah, it was really neat to get that book. I'm looking forward to reading that. Another one I picked up was the Peter Puck's Greatest Moments in Hockey, written by Brian McFarlane. You know, I'm going to be honest and say I don't know the genesis of Peter Puck. There's actually, I really like that image there. That's a neat one, like goalie. I suspect this is aimed at more of a family audience, this particular book, but some great artwork. I really do like those drawings. So this was being thrown out, basically, so I rescued it. There we go. So it's a Kenneth Branagh Poirot. Sorry, Lanny McDonald there. His giant walrus-style mustache is McDonald's most defining physical characteristic and helped him become an iconic figure in the sport, indeed. So Peter Puck's Greatest Moments in Hockey. I suspect there might be a few more of Peter Puck books. In fact, let's look that up. Peter Puck. Animated cartoon character. Hockey puck-shaped cartoon character whose animated adventures appeared on both NBC's Hockey Game of the Week and CBC's Hockey Night in Canada during the 1970s. That's why I wouldn't be so familiar with it, because obviously I didn't move to Canada till the early 2000s. So I'm going to seek, it's Hanna-Barbera, so I'm going to seek some of those out and play them on, play clips of it on Bourbon and Boarding, I think. It's pretty neat. Peter Puck's Greatest Moments in Hockey. This one I couldn't resist this for a couple of reasons. This is Dennis Hull, one of the Hull brothers, famous Hull brothers. This is his book and it's hilarious. The third best Hull. I should have been the fourth, but they wouldn't let my sister Maxine play. So the guy's got to have a sense of humor. I love the fact also that Brett Hull is pictured in his Dallas Stars gear where he won the Stanley Cup with them. So this man does have a sense of humor. The third best Hall of Fame. I think he went on to have a pretty good speaking career. Was very funny guy, after dinner speaking and all that stuff. So. And there's a succession of great comments about him on the back from Henri Richard, Gordie Howe, Yvonne Cornier, Frank Malkovich. So some really great quotes about Dennis and about this book. So looking forward to reading that because that could be pretty funny. On his career with the Blackhawks, a lot of people don't know that I signed a $10 million deal with the Blackhawks Problem was I couldn't get them to sign it. So to all of it. So Bobby, Brett, and Bart. But yeah, the hulls, that looks funny. I'm looking forward to reading that. So that was it for the physical media for this week, or this recent time. I got a couple of trips into the city planned in September for various appointments, so I'll hopefully be hitting a couple of thrift stores in Calgary and thereabouts, see if I can find some new stuff in there, because I've, for a moment, have bled the local one dry. And I don't think I've got any great new stuff on order. We're always looking at what Umbrella are doing with these collector's editions. So just a couple of other things. Thank you all for being here and listening to this and checking this stuff out with me. Our great friend Christian is over on the Rumble side and he's saying hello. So, hey, Christian, how are you, buddy? As I say, he and I are going to be doing a stream very soon on Robert Burns and reading some Robert Burns poems live. Also, we're planning me to appear on his a stream where he's going to talk about some of the music that has influenced me growing up. And there's a delayed, but hopefully we'll be on soon, a stream we're going to do on ELO on his Christian's regular series on Arambal. So a couple of other things I just want to talk about. Some of the shows I've been watching recently, may or may not do some videos about them. I did drop a video on Dark Winds, which is a great AMC show, which has got a third season coming up next year, I think. Umbrella Academy, not great. Season 3, I've heard. It's Australian, but they get such good stuff, and they get a lot of good Korean stuff, which is something I'm keen on. So recently, as I say, dropped a video on Dark Winds. I'm working on a video on a Korean movie called Project Silence. I did do a video on Hijack 1971, which was great. I've also been finished watching on Netflix a Japanese show, which I could recommend, and hopefully I'll get the chance to do a video called Tokyo Swindlers, about land swindlers in Japan and some of the big heists that they pull off. Pretty tense show, with obviously a little more to it than that, with some of the backgrounds of the characters and obviously the police investigation into what they're doing. I found it fascinating. Some of it's based on real cases because land is at such a premium for development in Tokyo that basically these guys put together a whole heist based upon impersonating the owner of a piece of land and then falsely selling that land to eager developers. Great show, check it out. Watched a lot of good Korean shows recently, one of which I could recommend, as well as the videos I've done on other ones that you've already seen, is a show called Hot Stove League. It's about a few years old, 4 or 5 years old, but it's about the Korean Baseball League, and it's got a touch of Major League and a touch of Moneyball about it. But it's fascinating the way that the central character, who is played by Nam Kung Min, great actor, was in $1 Lawyer, My Dearest, and a number of other really great shows. Very charismatic guy. He comes in, he's brought in by the owners of this failing Korean team that's always at the bottom to turn them around, but they have a secret wish to disband the team, and so they basically get in his way as much as possible, but he basically refuses to let that stop him from turning that team around and trying to make them a real contender. It's a very heartwarming, very fun show, showing a lot of the machinations of sport that we did see in movies like Major League and Moneyball and so on. great cast. Nam Kung Sing really is a wonderful actor. If you ever, if you're into Josie on era Korean stuff, he starred in My Dearest, which is an absolutely fabulous show. It's something I'm looking forward to watching, and hopefully I won't get slammed by YouTube for showing this. Hwang Young-min is one of my favorite Korean actors. He's in a ton of great stuff. I've done videos about many of his shows and films. 10 years ago, he made a show called movie called Veteran, police thriller. It was a huge hit. A lot of fun, comedy action thriller, cop thriller. And they finally got around to making a sequel to it. And I'll be going to see this in the cinema in September, making that long trek to the other side of Calgary where there's one cinema shows Korean movies. Here is the trailer for I, the Executioner. They're not calling it Veteran 2 because it's been so long. They've got titled it I, the Executioner. This is the kind of kick-ass, entertaining stuff that comes out of Korea that makes me love their movies so much.
범행을 저질렀던 지역에서 똑같은 방식으로 살해를 당했다는 것도 공통점입니다. 야, 이 또라이 새끼야! 너 이 새끼 진짜 뒤질래?
저 선배님이 조태우 잡으시는 거고 경찰 된 건데.
이게 조직적인 범행이면 어떡할 거야?
너 그러다 실수한다.
야, 이 새끼가!
재지연 새끼들 잡는 게 내 일이고.
So I am absolutely looking forward to that one. Hwang Young-min is just magnificent.
Leslie Headland, Kathleen Kennedy, Amandla, and the Acolyte
I
have
can hear
thrashed and
WW
trashed Star
Pro
Wars.
somewhere. I'll switch that off. It's just, I should switch off that play next video thing. Yeah, so I, the Executioner, looking forward to very much. Going to see that and then reviewing it. Bunch of dedicated cops trying to catch gangsters. So lots of fun. Thank you, Davina, for posting all the stuff that you do. Hot Stove League. The series is based on Lee Shin-hwa's screenplay, which was one of the winners in the 2016 NBC Drama Screenplay Contest for miniseries. Deserved everything it got. It's a fabulous miniseries if you like baseball. And some of the machinations and ins and outs of trying to make a competitive team when you've got no money and even your own owners don't support you. The Executioner's debuting September 13 in Korea. I think it also will be on in North America in that period. Promises to be one of my favorite movies of the year. Touch wood. It's going to be as good as I think it will be. And there ain't no messages in this other than good cops catch bad guys and some kick-ass action in between. So looking forward to that. Anywho, South. I may well take you up on that, but I'm gonna go look for that. So, right. Okay. Well, I think we're almost at the hour mark. So time to wrap it up. Really appreciate you all joining me on this Saturday when I know you've all got tons of stuff to do and there's tons of other shows on. Appreciate it very much for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out with me, making my day. Bill, good to see you, my friend. Absolutely. Hope to catch you all again soon. As I say, no show on this channel on Monday coming. I'm taking the week off. So many personal appointments and stuff to take care of. But a full slate of shows planned for September. Going to get Brahma on as co-host on Labor Day. We're going to do a cult comedy crew on Canadian hockey show Shoresy, which is just hilarious and has got the heart and soul of hockey in it. In Canadian hockey. Anyone that thinks this media portrayal and shall we say the elite Canadian portrayal of Canadians is all quiet and polite and whatever. Needs to watch Letterkenny and Shoresy, and you'll see the real Canada. So the real working class Canada. So that we're going to have a Canon Film Club in September. We're going to do the Charles Bronson 10 to Midnight. Great classic Canon movie, one of the best. I'm going to do an It's Only Talk and Roll on. We've never talked about the Rolling Stones, but I want to do a show not about the Stones in general per se, because that's a huge thing, huge chunk. I want to talk about one of my favorite Stones albums in that show, Beggar's Banquet. So that's coming up. And then there'll be a 70s rock fan at the movies, where we go back to one of our favorite topics of science fiction classics, and we're going to talk about Dark Star, the John Carpenter movie. Such a good movie. Very influential to me in my early days of getting into science fiction. So that's what's coming up in September. More details obviously to come. Thank you all for watching, subscribing, liking, becoming a member if you've done so. Please check that out if you haven't. Couldn't do it all without you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Keep on rocking, and please everybody stay well. But thanks for being here. See you all again soon. Yeah, I love you all.